This episode was filmed before David Lynch announced that he's no longer able to direct in person, but we'll chat about that in the next episode. Trigger warnings and strobe warnings can be found in the video description. Hey, Adam.
Hey, Maggie.
What's up?
Nothing.
Cool.
Not a thing is up.
Me either.
Nothing's ever been up.
Do you want to do something right now?
Let's do a thing.
Okay.
What did you have in mind?
Talk about While It Hurt
Okay,
on a podcast
great.
where we're sitting here.
Shall we get in a car or do it here?
No, we can do it here.
That sounds good.
We're already
Probably-
rolling, actually.
Probably say. Oh,
Yeah,
great.
so we can just start now
Okay.
if you want to.
You don't want to rehearse first.
We don't have to.
No, it's not.
Okay. What's up?
Hey. That's as far as we can.
Yeah.
Every one of these bits is real dumb.
It's great.
We've never done a good
It's
one.
great.
They're all very
It's
silly.
all like an acting exercise.
Yeah.
Adam, I don't know if you know, but I'm an actor.
I did know that. You're
Yeah.
very compelling.
We're gonna bring a little bit of a knowledge.
If there was
today.
ever a filmmaker who could tap into your latent potential, it's David Lynch.
He loves working with actors. Loves working with actors multiple times.
Yes.
Loves working with actors of all ages.
Yes.
Old, young.
Yes.
Very old.
Can you? Super
Very old.
Local.
Yeah.
Sometimes.
Local. Yeah.
He really
Local.
loves it.
You know.
Yeah. I feel like he's the guy who could get all the shine out of you.
Yes.
Just get it all out of you.
Yes.
you
Yes.
know?
From all reports, the people that I talked to that I worked with, it is just wonderful.
Just a joy.
You know, it's just a joy.
Actors love him.
Yeah.
I think you'd
Yeah.
have to love them to do what they're doing in every film
Yeah.
we're going to watch from today on.
Absolutely. You have to love
Yeah.
it. And also, I will say, it's also working with a director that cares that much about actors. When you get
Absolutely.
into acting, you are under the delusion that that is the norm.
It is not.
It is not.
It is not.
It is not.
I'm ashamed to say how many times I showed up to a set and met the actors.
It,
I mean, you know
it
that.
happens.
Like, that's
Well, and also, like, that's just part of the job. Like, a lot of times the director only just got hired, like, right before, you
Right.
know, it's like,
there's no money for rehearsal.
Yes, there's no money for rehearsal.
Like they're coming off another gig.
Yeah.
It's like, this
you
is
name it, it's happened.
And you can see that 100%. You can see that David Lynch is a guy who is like, I'm going to carve out
Yeah.
the space to
Mhm.
really get into this.
Yep.
Get to the bottom of it.
Get to the bottom.
Get all the way to
of
the
it.
bottom of it. Hey,
Mhm.
anyway, this is LynchPins.
This is LynchPins.
Welcome to this podcast about David Lynch for people who like David Lynch or people who'd like to like David Lynch.
Yeah, or
It's
would like to know more.
That's right. It's for you if you're a person.
And you. And you.
You know the one.
And your girlfriend.
Oh, super. That guy's girlfriend?
Yeah. Oh my
Yeah.
God.
She's
She'll
going to
love
love this. Absolutely. That's Maggie May Fish. She's one of our hosts.
That's Adam Ganser, the other host.
We're never going to add anybody else, I don't think.
No.
This is
Some
all
people
we got.
ask us for guests, and it's like, maybe for extra stuff, but
I would add David Lynch.
okay.
If he wants to come on,
Dave,
open invitation.
anytime.
Yeah.
Text me.
We'll talk.
Fine.
Text either of us.
But yeah,
Doesn't have to be Maggie. Could
be.
I knew exactly what your bit was going to be. Anyway,
hey,
today
yeah.
we're finally getting to...
We're getting to the Lynch of it all.
That's right.
We're getting to the meat and potatoes.
Yes, we
are
are.
getting to, I would say if you signed up for a David Lynch class and they weren't going to cover all of his movies, I think they would just like start here.
Yes, I
Yeah.
agree. This is the first movie that we've watched that was like, oh yes.
Oh, yes.
We're in the zone now.
Yeah.
We're speeding on a highway into the surreal who knows what.
We are looking down that line,
And
the highway line.
It is, yeah, really wiggling. It's a wiggling line.
I'm excited.
Anyway, this is 1990's Wild at Heart
Yes.
with Laura Dern and Nicolas Cage
Mhm.
and Willem Dafoe.
Yes.
You know, just really doing it with those teeth.
Just.
really
Ooh.
doing it.
You know what? I think we should just go ahead and jump
Let's do
into
it.
our first segment.
What happened?
What happened? I was just kind of doing a over
Yeah,
rainbow.
I liked your thing.
Okay.
Oh yes, I
yeah,
see.
I don't know. Just
Like, I was trying to like match your energy with a
you did a good.
with like a like if I was a Monopoly man, would it be this way?
You're the wizard to my Dorothy.
100%.
There you
I
go.
really hope that our editor cuts to an empty chair at some point.
That would be wonderful.
It's just I'm not there.
Let's get that empty slate
Why
after
not?
this. Yeah.
Oh yeah, we got to. Those are ideas.
Yeah.
We like to write as we go, actually.
We do.
That's kind of our vibe. Anyway, somehow we're going to explain to you what happened in Wild at Heart. Now, if you haven't watched this movie, and it is hard to find, by the way, as we discovered when we tried to watch it a second time at my place and couldn't.
Not available.
Yeah, not available.
Yeah.
It's not easy to find, but it's pretty straightforward.
Yes.
Like it's not, you're not confused about what's happening for the most part.
Yes. We're still not territory. We're like, narratively, this is like pretty much like A plus B makes C happen.
I think the next couple, though, we're going to get increasingly far away from
increasingly esoteric.
Yeah.
But for now, we are still, well, actually, I think we're foraying into our first melodrama.
Oh, yes.
Pure melodrama.
And I think we'll never get out of that territory.
No.
Like, this is
what
we're looking at. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
We're looking on the barrel.
It is a barrel.
Woo!
It is an exuberant barrel.
Yes.
Yeah.
So just quick facts about this film, in case you didn't know. So it came out in 1990, as you said, same year as Twin Peaks.
So big year for Dave.
Big year for Dave.
Real big year.
Big year. Yeah, and we'll see. This is very similar world to Twin Peaks. We're not covering Twin Peaks on this season, but you know, if you have seen it, might see some of it there.
I think it's also fair to say it might take place in Twin Peaks' world.
Sure.
There's a connection that he makes that we'll talk about in a minute.
Absolutely,
that may actually make this a part of the Twin Peaks world.
Great.
So that's interesting.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
It's based on a novel by Barry Gifford.
The shockingest fact I'm going to hear today.
I know.
There's a novel for this? What is it? Yeah. Right. It can't be anything like this.
It is, actually. It's
Have you read
not
it?
too far. No, but I read excerpts of it.
Really?
And I saw,
And it's this.
It's this. It is this. It is not this.
Wow.
Yeah. Barry Gifford also went on to write Lost Highway with Lynch.
Of course he did.
Of course he did.
Lost Highway feels like somehow a darker version of it.
Yes, but you see it's actually in his Barry's wheelhouse here.
Yeah.
Not too far off. David Lynch was first only going to produce it, but then he read the novel and was like, just kidding, I am going to write and direct this.
I think that's a hilarious fact because I have a hard time believing he could ever sit there and produce something.
I know.
You know what I mean? Not that I don't think he's capable of it, but more that it's like,
he's so hands-on.
You're not going to let that happen. Come on, you're going to get your hands in it. What are you talking about?
Get his hands in it. He did.
Oh, yeah. All over it.
Yes.
His lipstick red hands all over it.
And I think the only piece of knowledge that we need to know before we're diving into the plot is that David Lynch loves The Wizard of Oz.
Yes.
Yes. We saw snippets of it in Dune, pieces here and there.
Yeah. I still believe, and I'm not super researched for this, but I believe what he loves about Wizard of Oz is the pastiche.
Totally.
More than the narrative of it. I think he loves the kitschy American pastiche.
Absolutely.
Of it.
Well, and also Wizard of Oz, and here's a fun fact, is it's rare in that it is purely American, written in America, about American politics of the time. And we have very few, I guess, like mythical tales that we tell that is purely Americana.
Well, I mean, another interesting fact about Wizard of Oz is it has strangely endured. Yeah. Like, and I don't mean, like, there's so many classic films, right? And like Citizen Kane or Casablanca, and yet it's much more likely a young person has seen Wizard of Oz than any of the rest of those films. Yeah. A young person today is so much more likely to have seen Wizard of Oz than any of those sort of formative classic pieces of cinema.
It's probably the first film that is highly regarded by filmmakers that you will see in your lifetime because it is technically a children's movie. So you watch it as a child.
Boy, it doesn't feel like it when you watch it.
I know.
It's a lot more grim than...
The actual story is also like dark. But
100%. Yeah. Also, I think the color work in Wizard of Oz translates here a little bit.
Oh, sure.
We talk a bit about that.
Right.
Last point on that is that I think he also thinks of Wizard of Oz as being like it takes place before his childhood. So for him, it's nostalgia, right? And like that's how it is for all of us. But like that's important because there's not that much stuff in his films that is nostalgia from before his youth.
Sure. Yeah.
That's like it all kind of goes back to when he was like in the 50s and that era. This is the one thing that seems to go back
beyond.
Before.
Yeah. He says in his biography that he doesn't remember the first time he watched Wizard of Oz. He doesn't remember, but it endures.
Yeah.
Yeah. For many of us, it does.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I think we watched it for a different podcast, you and I, didn't we?
Did we?
Was it you and I that watched? Oh no, I watched it for a different thing. Okay, not with you.
You have other friends?
Barely. Not for long.
Get rid of them.
I'm gonna. We gotta get in the car.
Get it out.
Clasp hands and drive into the abyss of friendship.
Let's do that into the plot of this movie.
We better, because
there's quite a bit, a lot.
Yeah.
But also that's basically how this movie starts. It goes 0 to 10, 0 to 60.
Yeah.
In seconds.
Yeah, we start with a murder, the mechanics of which are not entirely clear.
Right.
But not unclear like badly constructed.
Right.
Unclear like we know what happened, but we don't know why.
Right. Yeah. Okay, so we'll get it. So Wild at Heart is an episodic quest of two star-crossed lovers. Lula Fortune, played by Laura Dern. I will call her Laura Dern throughout this because
as one must.
As one must. And Sailor Ripley.
Sailor Ripley.
Played by Nicolas Cage.
If anyone was ever born to be in a Lynch film, it's Nicolas Cage.
If anyone was born to don the name Sailor Ripley for a role.
Now. Absolutely.
Oh my God.
Like Nicolas Cage has been in Lynch films his whole career.
Yeah.
He's just fine. Like this is the one where he did it.
Yes. And he basically says as much when he talks about this movie.
Oh, no doubt.
This is the freest he's been.
You can absolutely see it.
Yeah.
Also, he's nailing it.
Yeah.
I would argue.
Yes.
He's really nailing it.
Both of everyone, actually.
Yeah. Yes.
Phenomenal cast.
Everybody in this movie knows the movie they're in.
Yes.
That's the fun of it.
This is where we start getting all of the actors on the same page.
Correct.
Correct. From here on out.
Yeah, I really enjoy that about it. Also, we forgot to mention this, but it matters. It won Cannes. It won the Palme d'Or.
It did.
Which is the highest honor at Cannes. And I think is a kind of a controversial choice, actually.
I believe it.
Yeah, I mean, Cannes likes to pick sort of edgelordy films sometimes for Palme d'Or. This one is not his most critically regarded.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, like, the fact that he won that award is really interesting.
Yeah. And I also say it's not, I mean, parts of it are edgy, but I think in the grand scheme of things, it's not.
No. I would say it's more erotic than a lot of stuff at the time.
Sure.
But not necessarily in a way that feels provocative, per se.
Yeah.
You know?
Right. So, speaking of provocative,
sure.
The very first thing that happens is we see our two leads, and Nicolas Cage and Laura Dern. They're at a fancy lobby. We don't exactly know why or where. But they're interrupted by a man who was paid by Laura Dern's mother to kill Nicolas Cage.
Yes.
Nicolas Cage obviously attacks back.
Right.
That's what you do when you threaten a man's vicinity. He kills this man.
He beats the hell out of that dude. Yeah.
He beats him to death.
It's real visceral. There's some metal music going on.
Metal music.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
There's that, and he points up at the mom.
Yeah, it was you.
It was you.
Yeah.
And that is basically, that's the introduction to the movie. Nicolas Cage is thrown in jail, and boom, the movie starts.
It's funny because it's a perfect, complete tone of the film.
Yes.
Like it's a little bit silly.
Yes.
It's a lot of bit intense. It's melodrama, and it's not always clear what we're watching or why.
It sets the tone phenomenally.
Yes. I feel like he was really, really dialed in for that. This movie.
Yeah. He was like, I'm gonna let you know what type of movie this is.
I'm gonna nail it every shot.
It kind of fucking does.
Yeah. Also, every single shot of fire in this movie is ooh,
the opening credit is
awesome.
Just fire with the names on it. Yeah.
But so Lynch is so good at this. It's partly sound design, and it's also like that camera that feels like it's not like it's about to jerk off the rails. He's so good at that.
Yeah.
And he nails it.
Yeah.
And it's an interesting metaphor and center of conflict for this movie.
There's an intensity to this film that is wonderful and beautiful and really just throws you.
Yeah, he keeps using the metaphor of lit matches in a way that is very obvious, you know what I mean, like the burning passion, but also sometimes it's so obvious that you feel like there's more to it.
Yeah.
And I think maybe there is, that's what I love about this movie.
Yeah, We'll get into the Wizard of Oz is also obvious, but
absolutely. Yes, I want to talk about that too. Right. Yes, I agree with you.
Okay, so he's thrown in jail. We cut to 22 months later.
Right.
Nicolas Cage is released from prison. Laura Dern picks him up with his prize snakeskin jacket. And Nicolas Cage said, "Did I ever tell you that this jacket is a symbol of my belief in personal freedom?" And then she says, yes, about 100 times. And
that's right, baby.
Yeah, that's right, baby. That's right, baby.
She also said, their dialogue with each other in general is very, it's explaining the character at first, and then there's like this other layer beneath it where you feel like they're performing for each other.
They are kind of, yeah.
They 100%
They are, yeah.
So what you're actually looking for is sort of like, who are they beneath that?
Yeah.
And I think the film kind of is asking that question.
It is, yeah.
Like sort of like they're doing young lovers for each other. Like she constantly is like posing with her hair. He's constantly pointing and doing stuff.
Yeah.
Right.
They're performing the gender norms of 100%. What this looks like, yeah.
And like in a strange way, the conflict is not so much the fact that they're being chased by his mother-in-law, as much as it's like, will they actually be honest with each other?
Yeah.
Will they
can they be
real?
together?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
are we living in the fantasy of this, or is this real? Yeah.
Yeah, that's the unstated real purpose of the film, I would say.
Cool.
You know?
Well, let's save it for a Sailor.
Forgive me. I love the fuck up segments. I love it. Oh, love it so much.
Well, Riptide you through the next part of this
Thank
movie.
You.
So they come back together. They have their first of many wild sex scenes.
Oh, yeah.
This first one's like fun and campy. They're having a blast.
Yeah.
Afterwards, Laura Dern reveals one of her many traumatic backstories.
Oh, boy.
Yes, this first one being that she has been sexually assaulted by a family member or a family friend when she was younger.
Yeah. In a pretty overt way. Like it's.
Yes, we see the aftermath of
he
the
clearly beat her up
horrific.
and raped her.
Yes.
That's pretty clear.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But just so for audience knowledge, you don't see it in case that is triggering for you, but you see the aftermath of it.
Correct.
And so while this is all happening, they're having a lovers, wonderful time, revealing dark secrets about themselves. Her mother, Marietta Fortune, asks her on and off again, lover, played by dear Harry Dean Stanton.
Oh, I love him so much.
Yeah, he's so great in this.
He's so like, he's so underwhelming.
Yes.
In this like pitch perfect way.
Yes.
Like he's just way out of his depth, doesn't realize who he's really helping
This
here.
is where you can, all the actors are on the same page, but David Lynch does a wonderful job of levels and having characters play off of each other.
Yes.
And energy levels.
Yes. He's the person that feels like pretty grounded, but it works that he's grounded because he is just not ready for what's coming.
Right.
Can I say one quick plot point? Because I think it actually matters. Both of the lovers tell each other backstory things, like trauma, and they both lie to each other about it. She says to him that her mom didn't know anything about this rape. And then we see in the backstory, she absolutely knew what was happening.
Right.
Like, so they both kind of.
What is he?
I forgot what he said, but I wrote that down, that they both sort of misstated exactly what happened.
Oh, yeah.
In this way that's like.
There's a slightly better version of what I remember it to be.
Yeah. Like they don't ever like overtly restate that, but it's sort of laying the texture of their relationship down. So, yeah. I don't know exactly what to make of it, but I thought it was interesting. Please continue.
Great.
Yeah.
So, after we see her hire Harry Dean Stanton to go and kill our dear Nicolas Cage.
Not that he could ever do that.
Right.
Yeah, that guy.
And mostly
way out of his depth.
Get her daughter back.
Right.
So we get a flashback to the night that Nicolas Cage was arrested, and we see that Marietta was hitting on him in the bathroom. For lack of better description.
Right.
Yes.
Oh, that's what he lied about. He didn't. Yeah. He didn't give the full disclosure.
Yes, that your mother was hitting on me in a bathroom, and then hired a man to kill me.
Right.
Yeah.
And like the way that she was hitting on him also felt like she was
plausible deniability. Like you can't say that I am flirting with you. I'm just really close and I'm whispering and I'm telling you not to go near my daughter. And actually, Yeah.
Right. Do you believe that's the real origin story of this conflict between them? Like, so the movie, the overt conflict of the movie is the stepmom, or whatever we want to call her.
Yeah.
The
Wicked Witch of the West.
Yeah, the Wicked Witch of the West.
Yeah.
Diane Ladd, who, by the way, just crushes it in this movie. She's so good.
So good.
She was also nominated for an Academy Award, the only person that was. That's interesting. This moment where she kind of hits on him in a bathroom, they're wearing the same color, and then he's like not into it, and they both exchange these like barbs, and then for the rest of the movie, she's essentially trying to kill him.
Yeah.
Do you think that's what happened? You know what I mean? Like,
I think we find out later that Nicolas Cage was there the night that she may have lit her husband on fire.
Right.
And so I think that's a big motivator. Well, both he rejected my advances and also he may have seen.
And he may know too much.
He may know too much. And also, I don't want my daughter to be happy. And I want my daughter to be stuck at home with me.
Right.
So
I want to make another of me.
You get rid of him, and then she gets everything she wants suddenly.
Right.
Easy. Okay,
that's interesting. That's an interesting read on it because I think I agree with it. I'm just I think there's a lot of ways to take the facts of this movie.
Sure. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. And what she would say is different than what he would say and what.
It's not clear that you ever know what really happens. Anyway, I mean, that's this kind of movie but it's not like you don't know what you're looking at. It's that you don't know if it happened or not.
Right.
Yeah. Anyway, please continue.
All right. So after spending the whole day in bed together, as united lovers are wont to do.
They do.
They do.
Yeah.
I have.
It's a real nice day.
Ooh, it's a real nice day.
What a day.
Woo! So of course, what do? You go to a metal club to dance out your feelings for one another and celebrate your reunion.
Where they both feel like they're from a different era. Yeah. They're in a metal club, but they're both in like circa 50s.
Yeah. So so when they're at the club, a man accidentally bumps into Laura Dern. Nicolas Cage, you think he's about to beat him up, but then he croons a 50s "Love Me" Elvis song.
Yeah. Which the band stops the concert and plays for him.
Yes.
And it's amazing.
This is the first time of 2 times this movie where the movie stops to let Nicolas Cage sing an Elvis number.
Yeah.
And I have thoughts about that I'll say for my analysis later.
I'm excited to hear that.
Great.
It's also one of 3 musical numbers.
Yes, I was going to say.
Because there's another one.
2. Yeah.
Yeah, there's another one. No. I mean, I think the one thing you have to say for people who haven't seen the film is like, the band, it suddenly becomes magic. He stops and everyone is excited about his concert and he has this concert for her. And it feels like this sort of like mythic moment. Well,
they have the screaming Elvis girls and it's like.
Yeah, and he does punch the dude. He does hit the guy. Like, I mean, he is violent there.
Yeah.
But it definitely feels like a fantasy,
Those moments, yeah.
Yeah.
It's,
And maybe it is, yeah.
Maybe it is. Okay, so they head back to the hotel. And Nicolas Cage tells Laura Dern, I'm only going to sing Love Me Tender for my future wife. That's why he didn't break out into that song, even though that's his favorite Elvis song. Right. It's also very funny because backstory, Nicolas Cage loves Elvis. He's obsessed.
No doubt.
No doubt. So
didn't even need to be told that. Yeah. I just knew it.
You just knew it.
Yeah.
So in here we get another horrific backstory from Laura Dern's character, revealing that her father died in a horrible house fire a couple years ago. And she says that her mother walked in and saw her father dousing himself in kerosene and lighting himself on fire.
Right. In and this is the part that is a little hazy for me. Is she there in the flashback? Is Laura Dern there?
We don't see the first time that she is there. The second time we see, and Laura Dern was present.
Right. Again, that's sort of the ritual of that is really interesting, where they're like reciting events they both know, and they both know the other knows it. So like that, again, it's this performance between each other. There's constant performance between them.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway.
All right, so Nicolas Cage and Laura Dern, they continued their journey. They break Nicolas Cage's parole by driving to New Orleans for the next leg of their lover's adventure.
Which, by the way, what a cool locale.
Oh, I love
the minute they got there, it was like, this is so good.
I love.
This film has basically 3 locales. It has that North Carolina Cape Fear locale, and then it has New Orleans, and we're there for a pretty good while. And then sort of like deserty Texas.
Big tuna.
Yeah, big tuna.
Big tuna.
And then California at the end. And they all have their sort of distinct flavor and like the weird people that belong to each area.
It is a road movie.
Yes, it's a road movie where we're not actually trying to get something.
Right.
Which is unusual.
To escape in a way.
Yes. Yes, we're trying to escape. Most road movies have a MacGuffin type thing. So we'll get back to that because I don't want to get too far ahead.
Okay, so while all that's happening, their trip's going along fine. Wicked Witch of the West is back at home and hires her second on and on again boyfriend. Santos,
oh boy,
a mobster.
What a dude.
Yes.
Yeah.
She wants him to kill Nicolas Cage.
Yeah.
And he's like, yes, I hear you. Did you also say maybe to kill Harry Dean Stanton?
She's like, no.
She's like, no. I didn't ask you to kill my other
I don't
boyfriend.
want that.
And Santos is like, okay, but what if I killed your other boyfriend?
Gonna do it though.
Yeah, I really, really want to.
Gonna do it though.
Yeah.
Yeah. What a
So
delightfully smarmy character he is.
Wonderful.
Like just loving his crime.
Yes.
Loving it.
That is, I do love how David Lynch, quite often, he has his villains revel.
Yes.
They delight in what they are doing.
Again, it's very like, it's melodrama in like the classic cinema sense.
Yeah.
Where you have like mustache twirling villain.
Yeah.
But also they're sophisticated in a way. So you get the feeling like even that's a surface. Like that's the thing about Lynch. There's surface stuff that is like accessible but not always clear. And then but you always feel the sense of what's beneath it, even if he never actually brings it out.
Yeah.
Which I love.
Yeah.
This guy had so much of that.
Yeah,
you know?
he does.
Just like the darkness in him was really interesting.
There's like a whole, half the cast is like a seedy series of.
Yes.
The next part of the movie, we see 3 of the hitmen that Santos hires to go ahead and carry this out. Because obviously, if you're as cool as Santos, you have people to do your dirty work.
Why would he do it?
Why would he do it?
When he could be there flirting with Diane Ladd.
Exactly.
And then loving his crime.
Priorities.
Right.
Priorities.
Duh.
Yeah.
Who wouldn't?
Nicolas Cage, Laura Dern, they make it to New Orleans.
That's right.
They celebrate by, once again, having mind-blowing sex. They go to a bar where Laura Dern gets turned on by Nicolas Cage talking about another woman
that was interesting.
that he's had sex before. And then they go back to their hotel and they fuck again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and what's interesting is most movies at this point would have introduced a present tense conflict for them.
Sure.
You know what I mean? Like where like they would be struggling or they would be at odds or they would be, or they might not get where they were trying to go or whatever. That doesn't really happen in this movie.
Love. Yeah. They were reunited. They are excited. They want to be with each other.
They don't have an actual conflict, a real conflict, until the car accident.
Yeah. That's where, I think it's introduced.
Yeah.
Here they're on each other's team. It's funny because I love this scene where he's talking about another woman and Laura Dern is getting turned on. I just think that's so lovely. Like, again, if someone else were handling it, an easy conflict is, he's talking about another woman. Oh, would Laura Dern not be
Which feel uncertain.
Right. But
Which
no,
you feel,
because they're in love. They love each other.
Right. Right. And it also sort of adds to his mythos.
Yeah.
Like I feel
and
like they're
her sexuality.
They're both like collecting an image.
Yeah.
You know, like they're adding to this idea.
Right. Well, his jacket is an expression of his personal freedom.
As he keeps telling us, and I keep believing him.
I believe it.
I mean, it's quite a jacket. I couldn't wear it. It's too much for me.
You could wear anything.
It's not an expression of my individual freedom.
That's true. It's Nicolas Cage's
freedom of expression. Correct. This is,
Okay, so after we get one more backstory, and it is Laura Dern adjacent. She talks about her cousin Dell, who went bananas, became obsessed with Christmas, would stay up all night making sandwiches.
Yeah.
And it was funny at the time, but now it's not anymore because he disappeared and no one has seen him since.
Yeah.
The end.
Yeah.
And we never learn anything else about him, and he's never mentioned again.
It's, again, like, in a weird way, it's like The Odyssey. Have you ever read The Odyssey?
Yes, absolutely.
So, like, one thing people don't know about The Odyssey, because they've all read Cliff Notes version and not the actual thing, is the stuff you remember from it is all being recounted in a story that's between, like, medieval, like, not even medieval, ancient games and shit, where they're, like, eating food and, like, warming up and stretching. Like, that's most of what The Odyssey is. With, like, 80 pages of, that's the cool stuff I see.
Yeah.
This movie kind of takes that format a little bit.
Absolutely.
Where, like, all the things that are, like, iconic about it, like, scene-wise.
Are things that they were recounting after sex,
Yes. Yes. That's actually the substance of their relationship, weirdly.
Yeah.
And I don't know what to take from that one. That one's real weird.
I have thoughts on it.
Oh, I'm so glad. I'm so glad to hear that.
Later.
Okay, great.
I will say this is one. So there's very many blatant Wizard of Oz references, but after Laura Dern gives this anecdote, Nicolas Cage says, "Too bad you couldn't go see that old Wizard of Oz."
Right.
It's too bad he couldn't visit that old Wizard of Oz and get some good advice.
We get it. Yeah. Okay.
Well, I see. I don't think it's that he's hitting it too hard. I think
I don't think that either.
Okay.
I am at it. Yeah, for joke effect, we get it.
Yeah,
but
Wizard of Oz, bro.
Yeah. The flying wicked witch, I think, and the literal Glinda the Good Witch at the end.
Right.
I think is.
Okay, Wizard of Oz, understood. And that's where I think when we'll get into the next segment, we'll talk about what does it mean that there's that much of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway.
All right.
Okay. Great.
All right. Okay. So Marietta. Wicked Witch of the West calls Harry Dean Stanton to warn him that he might be in danger because she doesn't tell him this, but she sent her other ex-boyfriend out there.
She knows he's going to die. I feel like she always knows what she's going to do.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I don't think she's ever confused about what's going to happen.
Oh, okay. I think in this moment it doesn't feel in control. That's part of her.
Interesting. Okay, yeah, maybe I think about that more metaphorically. But I love the lipstick witch transformation is one of the most memorable moments of the movie.
It's awesome.
For sure.
It's awesome.
It's so great. The pink skin, it's like, whoa. Anyway, yeah.
All right.
Amazing.
So Laura and Nicolas Cage, they continue their odyssey down the road. Laura takes over driving for a while, but she has to stop because the radio is just incessant, terrible news. Just a series of horrific accidents and incidents and crimes and violence that she freaks out, stops the car, and yells at Nicolas Cage to put some music on before she goes crazy. And then the punch dance in the desert together as the sun goes down.
I love it. It's repetitive, but in a way that I never get bored. Mm-hmm. Like I'm never bored by it, even though I do think it repeats itself a bunch.
Yeah. Well, at the end of this, when they get back to the car eventually, this is when Laura looks up and sees her mother as the Wicked Witch.
Right.
Riding beside them.
Right. You have to kind of wonder at what point Lula becomes conscious of her own intentions. Because I would argue maybe it's there. You know
what do you mean by that?
So, I think, and I keep wanting to go to the next segment because I just find it so interesting. So, I don't want to get too into the woods there, but I think that there's a part of her that doesn't want to admit her own dishonesty and see him for his flaws. Mm-hmm. Like she wants to stay in this consuming fantasy, and it's all around her. The fact that it's not true, and I think that represents her being unable to shut it out entirely because the movie starts to really tank in terms of her happiness after that. So anyway,
and right around that time also is when Nicolas Cage reveals that he was there the night that Lauren's father died.
That's correct.
So he reveals something that he kept from her, and she even says that. She says, "You didn't tell me that."
Right.
So give me some of that.
Yeah.
You're gonna be honest with him.
Yeah.
All right, so meanwhile, Marietta makes it all the way to New Orleans where she finally runs into Harry Dean Stanton.
Thank God.
Thank God.
All I want is this scene.
She's there. She thinks she saves him. They have a lovely, whatever moment.
Yeah.
But she goes to bed for the night, and we see Harry Dean Stanton go to his room and get knocked unconscious by an unseen assailant.
Right, and we know.
Uh-oh.
Bye-bye.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
And we kind of miss him a little bit, I would argue. Just because he's such a doofy.
Well, we haven't seen his death yet.
Forgive me, I forgot that's a different scene. Yeah. Continue.
We miss him very much after the death.
Yeah. I love him.
Yeah.
I love him so much.
Yeah. So while it's happening, Nicolas Cage, Laura Dern, we get to, I think we agree, is a very tipping point of this movie.
Definitely.
They're driving late at night. They come across a horrific accident.
Yes.
A woman is walking around. It's Audrey from Twin Peaks.
I feel like it might actually be Audrey from Twin Peaks, by the way. It might be Audrey from
Twin Peaks.
Yeah.
She's stumbling around with a large head wound.
Yes.
Is talking incoherently, and they watch her die right in front of them.
Right.
And they are both traumatized.
Right.
As anyone would be.
Right.
I think.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. And that's another Lynchian trope, by the way. It's like the sort of the roadkill trope.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The deer in Straight Story.
Right.
Mulholland Drive sighting incident.
Oh, yeah. There's a lot of like car accidents are kind of a strange like emotional locus for him. You know what I mean? Like where
driving through Hollywood Hills, I think
every time
I'm
I drive through there,
gonna get hit or someone's gonna hit me.
Yes,
and I'm gonna die.
I've driven through Mulholland Drive actually about 15 times, and I don't enjoy it. I don't.
I will not live in the hills because
no. It's like this is gonna be a car accident.
Yeah, if not me, then like
a child, somebody on a bike. It's like anyway, it's a nightmare up there.
Anyways,
that's
probably where a lot of
that's where the anxiety's coming from.
Woo!
He's living in the hills.
All right. So in the morning, Marietta realizes Harry Dean Stanton is gone. She doesn't know where he goes. There's 3 creepy men who give her a note that tells him he's gone buffalo hunting.
Buffalo hunting.
What the f does that mean? Buffalo hunting.
She's confused by it, but kind of believes it. But then Santos shows up, and then she connects. Oh, he didn't go buffalo hunting. And
I love the soap opera of that. It's come on.
Come
like, it's
on.
So good.
Yeah, it's great.
It's so good.
Yeah. And then we see Harry Dean Stanton. We see him caught by the hitmen. They're having a blast.
Yeah.
They're making out with each other.
Yeah.
He is over it. Please kill me, kind of going across his face. And then they do. They shoot in the back of the head. He's gone. We miss him.
That scene is real strange.
It's so weird.
Because you think that it means something. Like the people that are killing him mean something.
Yeah.
And if they do, it's completely elusive.
Yeah.
Like they feel like subhuman in a weird way.
Right.
You know?
I think part of it, and again, this is tipping the hat a little bit, but so it's a woman who walks with a cane and a black man. And when you see both of them around the power structure, which is just old white men, both of them are very well behaved.
Oh, that's an interesting point.
Smile. You know, they keep to themselves. And then the moment they get to be alone, they're making out. They're
unhinged.
Unhingedly themselves, that they are not at all when they're around anyone else.
That's an interesting text to read on too.
Yes. Well, also, I think what supports it is, again, it's giving a little bit ahead, but, when they're in the room with all the women and the lady's like, smile, you're supposed to be acting like you're happy to be here.
Yes, the madam.
Right.
You're not just a pretty face with a fucking smile. You're here to make Mr. Reindeer happy.
And it's all about like the performance. Like these two are putting on a performance for their bosses. Lula and Ripley are putting on a performance for each other,
And that's where, and that's like the other place where there's like overt sexuality happening in the film. Yeah. Like where there's
a lot of naked women around.
Yeah, dancing and performing. Yeah. Which I think is a way of reinforcing the subtext of that what's happening between Lula and Sailor is performance. Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah, it's Nicolas Cage in Lower Dern. They stop at a town called Big Tuna.
Big Tuna.
Big Tuna in Texas. Big Tuna in Texas.
Like, what a name.
I know.
Like, what a place.
Great.
I'm sure it's a real place. And, like,
Let's road trip.
I can 100% see David Lynch when he's writing the screenplay looking through a list of cities and being like, there it is. I got it.
Tuna.
We got it, baby.
You got it, baby.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. So they go because Nicolas Cage has a friend there, played by Isabella Rossellini.
Yes, in a wig.
In a wig.
What a wig. But not an ill-fitting wig.
Yeah, I like it.
One of my favorite facts.
I like it.
Yeah.
He asks, hey, just like, is anyone like trying to like kill me? And she goes, no.
Silly. Yeah. Least of all me.
Yeah.
It's
certainly no one is. Feel free to stay as long as you need.
So good.
It's great.
And like you're never sure with the way they're doing it, if like are either of them picking up on what the other one's doing?
Yeah.
Do they both know what's happening? Like it's incredible.
It's great.
It's so good. She's so dead-eyed and strange. Yeah, it's amazing.
So they go to like a little outdoor gathering of all the other people who have blown into the city. Mm-hmm. This is where we meet a couple of weird characters, but most importantly, Bobby Peru, played by Willem Dafoe.
His teeth deserve an Academy Award.
Yeah.
Those teeth.
Yeah.
Boy, oh boy.
Speaking of mouth close-ups.
Also, yeah. I think this is maybe the best one he ever did, or like maybe the most... When I say best, I mean the most
effective.
Horrifying,
unsettling,
horrifying close up.
Yep.
Yeah. Also, that bar was awesome.
Which one?
The one in Big Tuna. If I remember correctly, that one was amazing.
Yes.
Also,
yes,
the one in Louis, like every bar they show up at is like so awesome.
That's great.
Like, yeah, what a cool location.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Great work.
Yeah.
Set design.
Well, that isn't a small thing. Like finding these vibey bars is like one of his
so much work.
secret gifts. Like David Lynch is one of those guys who sells a place better than almost anybody, which is why he's the LA filmmaker.
Yeah.
You know, because like he sells the scene more than anybody. He's so good at it, and I think he does it a bunch of times here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's great at capturing both the best and the worst things about a particular place.
And how they're intertwined, inevitably.
Inevitably.
You know?
So they're in Big Tuna. They beat career criminal Bobby Peru. And while they're in Big Tuna, Laura Dern has started to not feel so great. And then we learn, she reveals that she is pregnant with Nicolas Cage's child.
The fantasy is officially over now.
Officially over.
Yeah.
They are not okay here.
And they start to spiral at this point.
Yeah.
You know?
Here's really where, it goes. And actually during this, when she is telling him, we have a flashback to Laura Dern receiving an abortion.
Yeah.
Presumably from the assault that she suffered.
I know, man. Like, whoa.
I know.
That was a crazy scene.
Yeah. And it's very quick. And I think the first time, where you didn't recognize it as an abortion, because it is very abstract. Like, she's just sitting in a chair and...
I think I whispered to you, is that what I think it was? Yeah. Because it's not uncommon for this film to cut to something that isn't narrative.
Totally, yes.
You know, or if it is narrative, it's not meaningfully narrative. You know, like the dude with the quarters. The dude just taking messages about the quarters. It's like, okay.
All right.
Great.
Sure, man. Whatever.
Sure.
What do you mean?
Also her cousin's story about, like what was that? I don't know. You know, okay.
So the culmination of this terrible time and Big Tuna, Nicolas Cage goes to change his oil, and while he's gone, Bobby Peru comes in the room and sexually assaults Laura Dern.
Yeah.
And leaves her once again traumatized.
Yeah. That was horrifying. And then this is the part I think, you know, deserves to be talked about in a trigger warning sense and also in a emotional sense.
We'll get trigger warnings in the beginning too. So,
okay, great. Yeah. So like after he threatens her, he then sort of forces her to listen to him saying over and over that like actually she wants, like, say you want to fuck me basically. I don't remember exactly the line. But he says it over and over, and they have this horrifying close-up of his mouth until she basically gives in and says it, and then he walks away. Yeah. And it's this like, it's like gaslighting before we talked about that as a concept. Yeah. But also, it leaves you stunned. Just stunned.
I think it's a great, I mean, not exactly a metaphor, lack of a better word, for what sexual assault is. It's like, I'm going to control you. Right. You are going to do the thing that I want you to do, and I don't care about you at all. I don't see you as a human being.
Right.
Bye.
Right, and like in a strange way, through melodrama, brings the subtext of that forward. Yeah. In a way that you don't get in normal films.
We'll talk about this later. Yes.
Okay, great. Yeah. So
again, and actually, we'll talk about this more and more in David Lynch's work. But he treats sexual assault with the gravity it deserves, and though it is melodrama, the emotions are
they're intense, they're primal, they're you don't expect them. Yeah. They're shocking. People use that word a lot in movies, and that's not, I think that's a high bar, being shocking. Yes. And I think David Lynch is very good at knowing how to do that.
Well, and also it's like for a filmmaker to know the mechanics of what happens during an assault and to like understand that it's bad. It's very different to be like, I know how to write a scene that gives the feeling of violation to the viewer without actually being that explicit on scene, in case you don't want that.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, he doesn't pull his punches, and sometimes he punches you when you don't want him to, but in a way that is good for narrative, like good for you to understand emotionally the narrative. Yeah. Even if the beats between things don't make sense, per se. Yeah. Like, there's a part of it that's like, why is Bobby Peru doing this?
Right, yeah.
I don't know that it matters, because I think he's right that sexual assault isn't necessarily connected to the person's day.
Not at all.
You know what I mean?
No.
Like it's like
I mean, people, the whole thing of like being too ugly to be, that's not a thing.
Right.
It's not about attraction. It is about power and owning
pilfering.
someone's,
Yeah.
And I will say, this is a big heart of the film. And a pretty quick wrap up from here on out.
Yeah.
So Laura Dern does not tell Nicolas Cage this happened. Like many survivors don't vocalize it.
Right.
Does not tell him. And so later, Bobby Peru asks Nicolas Cage to get a beer, and Nicolas Cage goes like, sure.
Why not?
Why not? Bobby enlists Nicolas Cage's help. Oh, what were you going to say?
I'm just like, I also, if ever there was a guy that looked evil, it's Bobby Peru.
Oh my
God.
God.
That guy looks evil.
It. Oh.
Yeah, so it's kind of funny that Nicolas Cage, and also I think a slight condemnation in a good way, that Nicolas Cage's character doesn't have the discernment to look at him and be like, no, I'm not going to hang out with you.
Yeah.
No, instead he gets sucked into this whole crime plot.
Right.
You know?
There's no reason, but he does.
And forgive me, does he know that he has an unborn child at this point?
Yes.
Okay, so that's because that's the motive, right? That's why suddenly he needs to go back to crime.
Right, or he thinks,
I gotta provide or something.
Yeah, smooth landing at least to get the thing out.
Right. Wow. Right. So that brings up one point that I think for nuance maybe we should state.
Yeah.
Which is Bobby Peru actually intuits from Laura Dern's character that she is pregnant and then uses that as leverage to get Nicolas Cage to participate in this crime and also to drive a wedge between them.
Yes.
Because Nicolas Cage is offended that she would tell Bobby Peru that even though she didn't tell him.
Yeah.
So like it is sort of classic like manipulation, and it does soften the blow of his bad decision making some.
Yeah. He's like, I don't. Yeah.
But nobody has the skill set to like ask a question here.
Yeah.
You know, they just kind of accept it as it unfolds for them.
But
they're young.
Right.
I mean, it makes sense. Yeah.
And he does so. He accompanies Bobby Peru in stealing money from a feed store. And while he's there, unbeknownst to Nicolas Cage, Bobby Peru kills the people working there and then turns the gun on Nicolas Cage and reveals, yes, I was hired by her mother to kill you.
Right.
Nicolas Cage runs away and the cops show up.
Yep.
And instead of Nicolas Cage gets arrested, Bobby Peru
blows his own head off.
Yeah.
You know, fitting end.
Fitting end.
If only the teeth would have survived. Yeah.
I'm okay, but they're gone.
No?
I don't want to see it.
You don't want to see it? Just like one more shot of all the teeth in a row.
Bring it in my brain. I don't.
You sure?
Yeah. Yeah. Pretty sure.
All right.
So then we cut to 6 years later, because that's how
incredible.
long he goes away to jail. Laura Dern has had their son, his little pipsqueak of a boy, little tiny lad. She's on the phone with her mother, who is telling her not to go pick up Sailor. And she says, no, mother, you're not going to own me anymore. She throws water onto a photo of her mother, which ends up dissolving, much like the Wicked Witch of the West.
Yeah. They just lapse into actually doing that movie a little bit.
Yeah.
Which is fine.
They're fine. They reunite, but something doesn't feel the same. It's been 6 years. They have a kid. A lot has changed. And Nicolas Cage says that maybe Laura and the child are better off without him. So go on, little doggy.
Which is interesting because it's not really out of nowhere when you think about what the movie's about. But it feels very like hard right turn at the time, and you're like, are they not going to end up together? That's wild. Like the end of this movie is like they don't end up together. That's insane. So it is kind of effective as a turn.
Absolutely.
As a surprising twist.
You're like, no, this is where they're supposed to. You see her drive away, and then there's Nicolas Cage alone until a gang shows up.
A gang shows up.
He says, hey there, F-slur.
Bro.
Gets in a fight. Is knocked unconscious. To then which the Glenda the Good Witch shows up, tells him, don't turn away from love,
You love her,
Sailor.
bro.
You love her.
You love her, bro.
June,
Trust me.
Go and get her.
Yeah.
He wakes up, apologizes to the gang members.
With the silliest nose in the world.
Yeah.
The makeup on the nose is outrageous.
That's outrageous.
What are we doing?
Yeah.
It's unbelievable.
Yeah. He
Yeah.
runs through traffic. They're stuck in a traffic jam, jumps on cars to reunite with Laura Dern. And over the credits, he croons Love Me Tender. The
with
song
that nose, though.
He was only going to sing for his wife with that nose.
It's such an unbelievable choice that he would have that makeup for that moment.
Yeah.
You can't understate
Yeah.
how only David Lynch would do that.
Yeah.
Like, look
Anyone
at
else would
it.
look at that and be like, no,
Right? Like, that looks bad.
go back and make it.
And it's bad.
Yeah.
What are we doing? And he was like, no, this is
it.
We did it.
And they do end up together with that last twist.
Yeah, as the credits roll over them singing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's literally what happened.
That's what happens.
Yeah.
We did our job.
We did.
Yeah.
But what do you think really happened?
What really happened?
What really happened?
There's so many conversations that could be had here.
Yeah.
But can we focus it around, like, I don't know, two issues that I think matter, which is, what does Wizard of Oz do for us as an understanding of this story, right?
Yep.
What do you, like, I want to hear your take on that.
Yeah. So, in my opinion, what is this movie about?
Yeah.
There are many times, there are very horrible, tragic things that happen in this movie.
Right.
But surrounding that are things that we see the characters do to alleviate that. Dancing to music.
Yep.
Big loud music at a club. Singing, serenading one another. Using film and other things to process or think about the trauma that is surrounding them. To me, I think the core of it, I think the key to it is the scene where Laura Dern is hearing all the terrible things on the radio, stops the car and is like, put some music on. Because the music is what allows that character, but also us, to get through the hard times, to feel the feelings, to make sense of why even live at all if these terrible things are going to happen. What do we do in response to these traumas? We look to films, movie, music to give us meaning.
So Wizard of Oz is a way of organizing hope in a hopeless world.
Yeah. So
Like
it's
a way
like,
of elocuting that.
Right. Or
That's interesting.
Yeah, making sense of the nonsensical violence that people do to each other.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's so funny how our readings are based on our worldview in a lot of ways. Because like that is a very, and I think you're right about that.
Yeah. Well, I think it's also David Lynch. I mean, he loves movies and he loves pondering the impact of such thing, you know? Like, what does Wizard of Oz do for someone, actually? What does a story do for someone?
I think a lot of David Lynch's movies are about taking the escapism away from a fantasy. Sort of like, it's about putting a fantasy out there, but then it's about removing that fantasy and like letting you see the decay underneath.
Yeah.
You know, like, and so I think you could actually, I think this is like a two-way mirror in the sense that it could be that movies give us hope and escape, or it could be that movies are the balm that keeps us from seeing reality as it is.
I think it's a little bit of both.
You know? Because like, and I mean, I don't want to like talk about movies we haven't talked about or watched yet, but like, I think the same thing is happening at the end of Mulholland Drive. You know, I think the same thing is happening a little bit in Blue Velvet from time to time, where like the pastiche is a way of that the world is organized that should make sense, but then it doesn't make sense.
Yeah,
you know,
it actually
chaos
doesn't
and
make
truths.
sense. Yeah,
because it doesn't fully account for the world we experience.
Yeah.
And that's definitely true of their world. They're both fighting really hard to have their world the way they want it.
Yeah.
And yet a bunch of traumas and a bunch of danger and a bunch of their own mistrust of each other is immutable. You know, like that stuff can't be completely suppressed.
Right.
And so I think in a sense, the choice to love each other is a choice to embrace. We're going to live that out no matter what.
Yeah. Whereas even if now we are living more truthfully, like that's okay. We have the tools to get through this. I will sing to you and you'll love it. Oh, Sailor. You know.
Or perhaps you might call it a conscious fantasy.
Yeah.
Like it's like we're gonna permanently live here, even if I have a broken nose and you have a child, and blah blah blah.
Figure it out.
Yeah.
And in a way, that is kind of true to life. You do have to, at some point, just figure it out.
Well, I think, I mean, I think in like a sort of Sartrean existentialist sense, like these two people are writing the Wizard of Oz with their life.
Yes. Yeah.
They are making the Wizard of Oz of their life. You know, like it's not a vision that happened to them. It's a choice to make that their life.
Their impact on their environment. Yeah, that's very much built into the melodrama cake of it all.
Absolutely. Well, that's what's fun about David Lynch's melodrama is that it's on the surface a melodrama, but it's also a thing that the characters are putting on for us and each other to mask this other thing that the movie is really about. And you can sense it. This movie doesn't bring it all the way to the surface exactly. You know, some of his other films, I think, do. Yeah. Like, the further we go along, I think the more that happens.
Actually, I think that's a good segue into... Wait, what?
Wait, what?
Cut it out.
This is going to be real dumb by the 9th podcast.
Good, I can't wait.
Yeah, and then more seasons. Can you imagine?
Great.
Several years from now, this podcast keeps happening, and we're still doing these stupid faces for transitions. What a bad decision.
Can't wait.
What bad decisions.
Hey, Adam.
Hey, Maggie.
Do you know the philosophy of musicals?
Please tell me, what was it by Heidegger?
Great.
I believe Immanuel Kant wrote that treatise. Did he not? Yeah.
All right, so I'm just talking about like the acting styles here.
Okay, yes.
We're in melodrama.
Yes, we are.
We'll talk a little bit about what that means, but for first up, musicals. The philosophy of musicals is that your character breaks out into song because there is so much emotion they have to. That's like if you are writing a musical, if you're crafting a musical, the character's emotions need to be so big they bubble into a song. That is the only way to express it. And herein lies the intersection with melodrama. Melodrama is where you externalize the internal emotions.
Right.
If we're looking on a timeline, okay, let's say Chekhov is all internal. I love you and I will never let you know and you will not see a single drop.
Sure.
Chekhov. Shakespeare. I am going to tell you everything that I'm feeling. Here's my 5th soliloquy monologue. Melodrama, is more towards the Shakespeare side. Yeah, they're externalizing the internal feelings. And
it's almost like classic acting.
Yes,
it's pretty close to classic acting.
Yes. And actually, that's why a lot of classic because they came from stage, which had to be that way.
Correct.
Just a little acting knowledge for you. But so here we're living in melodrama.
Yeah.
With characters breaking out into song. The heightened emotional state of all of the characters. To me, they ring true because as actors, yes, we may be melodramatic. We may be technically externalizing more than we would in real life, but it is our job to imbue it with honesty and truth.
Yes.
So they are big and bold and huge, but they should ring true when done correctly. And David Lynch is a fantastic director, and these are fantastic actors.
One thing he does, it seems to me, and I don't know exactly his process, but like I'm going to use tools that I'm aware of.
Yeah.
So there's a great book by Judith Weston called, I think it's On Directing or something like Directing Actors. And she talks about like in the first chapter, the 5 tools directors use to direct actors.
Yeah.
And when one of them is facts and circumstances. And I think one of the things that sets David Lynch apart from other melodrama is that he gives his actors facts, things that are happening to them in their world before the scene, after the scene, that are not immediately apparent with the lines or actions.
Yeah.
So they're playing a bunch more stuff than just the melodrama of their scene, which is why it feels evocative.
Yeah.
Because a lot, like if you watch a soap opera A soap opera, they don't have facts and circumstances. So it just feels like they're performing an emotion and it feels flat. And that's fine. That's a certain kind of film, like storytelling. In this case, what makes Lynch so interesting is there's more facts there that are present in the performance, but not necessarily explained anywhere.
Right.
And you're always trying to get to what is that in them.
Right.
You
I
know?
also think within melodrama, because you have the heightened actions, but the grounded emotional truth.
Correct.
Is that not the two things that David Lynch explores in his work?
Yes.
Are heightened emotions with one another, but the understated truth.
Yes, and he is so good at making sure we know enough to know there is an understated truth. You know what I mean? Like that. So like in a strange way, melodrama as a form is not good at showing us underlying truth, because it brings all the subtext forward.
Yeah.
But in this strange way, David Lynch is almost like an Ernest Hemingway or like a Raymond Chandler or Raymond Carver, who is writing such terse stuff that you have to read into the iceberg of it all. His melodrama is also an iceberg, you know, and that's why it's so fascinating to watch his films, because you don't get everything from what they're doing, but you know there's more there. You know, I love that about it. Can I talk about a couple other directing techniques?
Please.
So this is the first film where I think you can really see his craft, how good he is at craft. One thing he does is effortlessly create edits between scenes that comment on each other.
Yeah.
Like effortlessly. Both the framing, the matching.
Yeah. Even like hilarious edits.
Absolutely.
Like when they just cut back to the mom and her whole face is red for
absolutely.
Like 3 seconds.
And it's amazing.
Yeah.
But also a lot of information is exchanged on a cut in this film. And that can only be done by a director who knows exactly when and where they're going to edit. You know, and that's not every director.
Yeah.
That's hard.
Yeah.
So we're talking like every frame is like very detailed and thought through. His work on inserts and close-ups is very sultry and very like sexy, for lack of a better term.
And
yeah.
it's my favorite shots in the whole thing.
Oh, me too.
Yeah.
And also I think he has a way of using overlays. He did it a little bit in Dune. He does it a little bit in a lot of movies, right? But Dune, I think he started to really nail that.
Yeah.
In this movie, he's using just color wheel overlays to give us a sense of both what is the emotion of that scene, but also like to give us the unreality of their story. You know, like every time we flash to a green or like a yellow or a red, it's reinforcing the technicolor fake color of it in a way that's reinforcing the unreality of things, and he never has to say it any other way, and it's amazing. You know, you don't see other directors doing that much.
Right. It's like it matches the colors with the heightened emotion.
Well, and like again, because it's a Wizard of Oz story, like you can't help but see how all the saturated hues he's picking are out of that color wheel from Technicolor.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like he's not doing cyan and orange like it's a sci-fi movie from the 2010s.
Yeah, or Breaking Bad.
No,
yeah,
right. I mean, that has a more complex and great color palette. Or even like, he's not even doing Almodovar, who also uses saturated primary colors.
Yeah.
But he's using them in a more sultry way.
Yeah.
David Lynch is using the primary colors to say something about the world that also harkens back to Wizard of Oz. Like he's laying fantasy on top of it.
Yeah.
In this amazing way.
Yeah.
You know, and it's great. It's truly great.
Well, should we hightail it over to Spotlight?
I don't think we can ever avoid the Spotlight.
But before we get to the Spotlight, I know that you don't want to wait for the next episode of LynchPins. Well, good news! You'll be able to catch it early over on Nebula. You'll get the extended, uncensored versions. And everything on Nebula is ad-free. And now, if you want to share Nebula with your friends and family and any astronauts you know, you can get them a Nebula gift card, even if they already have an account. It makes a wonderful gift for birthdays, holidays, or the farewell party before the astronaut blasts off to Mars. Nebula is producing bigger, better stuff all the time. It's not just me saying that, that's everyone saying that. From my exclusive series Unrated, where I talk about the history of sex and gender in film, to the wild reality competition show The Getaway, to Jessie Gender's Identities, a sci-fi story about identity and conformity, featuring an amazing cast including John Delancey, Abigail Thorne, Darius Rose, aka Jackie Cox, and Mwah. All of this and so much more is just waiting to suck the eyeballs out of your skull over on Nebula. Sign up with our link below and get 40% off of Nebula for just $36 a year. And you can't argue with math, baby. So head over to go.nebula.tv/lynchpins and block out an afternoon to binge Identities, The Getaway, and Unrated. Okay, everyone sign up? All right, ready to leave the station? Toot toot, okay, back to the show.
Man, Spotlight.
Yeah.
Now here's where this segment's been, in general, up to this point, fairly brief.
Yeah.
But there's so many things now that are like
yes, that are like
we're gonna see everywhere.
Maybe we can touch on them a little bit.
Yeah,
longer,
maybe briefly. Yeah, or maybe we'll just do it.
Yeah.
I'll never get tired of his mouth close-ups.
Mouth close-ups.
There's so many of them.
This is, as you stated, I think this is
the most memorable one.
Most memorable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think.
This is definitely here is like,
yeah, it's real creepy and gross.
Disgusting.
There's a great one in Mulholland Drive on the phone that I love.
Yeah.
But I think I love that one more because the lighting than this one. But this one is, I think, the most emotional of all of those mouth close-ups. And there's many.
Many.
You know, still a weird mustache.
Still a weird mustache.
We got all the way to Defoe teeth.
Yep.
It's epic. And there's so many.
Also so many. Fire.
Yeah.
Fire is everywhere.
Yeah.
In this.
Well,
film.
in this movie, it keeps it's both an allusion to their trauma and an allusion to their
love.
Passion.
Yeah.
And how they're both interwoven, which is, I think, ultimately what he's saying with a few of these elements, right?
Yeah.
Like, for instance, the sex scenes, right? I think the sex scenes are also telling us that there is passion there, but also that they're working out trauma between each other in some weird way.
But sex is violent and sex is beautiful and loving.
Yes.
It is.
Yes, and maybe both at the same time in some cases.
Hopefully, not always.
Yeah. Hopefully not always.
Yeah. I mean, I guess, you know, we don't know. BDSM.
Is that you shaking hands with BDSM?
Yes.
Yes.
Hello.
Welcome.
Welcome.
I'm Maggie. I know you. We know each other. I don't know why I'm not pretending. I don't know. There's a lot of stuff on this list. Old Hollywood pastiche.
Old Hollywood pastiche. We've seen bits and pieces, but this is the first time that he incorporates like
as a story element.
Yeah, as a story element.
Yeah. Actually, I think a little bit more about that Dune episode, and I'm realizing there was kind of an old Hollywood look to the worlds.
Totally.
A few of them.
Well, I was saying Cleopatra. There were moments I was like, "This,
Yes.
Charlton Heston could run in here and run out." And
in fact, the font. What's funny is the font they have up top in this movie, the Cape Fear font, feels like it's out of Ben-Hur.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it felt very old school to me.
Yeah.
And I was like, what is, and David Lynch loves to do satire on Hollywood.
Yeah.
Loves it. He does it as often as he can. He does it more overtly in a few films we're going to watch coming up. But a little bit of it here.
Yeah. And
Just
also I think like, I think he just likes that acting style. Like,
no doubt.
Of course.
No doubt.
And also, it's really fun to do. So that's another reason why actors love working with him. Like how you never get to be this big.
Well, it's so hard to feel like you're not
pushing,
losing humanity in it.
Right.
And he does something to make it feel grounded for people.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is. I want to know. Because every director is deciding in their heart, this feels real to me.
Right.
This feels correct in this world to me.
What's like their love feels real, regardless of whether, sailor and like crooning and swinging, like those are all, the accoutrements. But like underneath it, they like truly love each other. Like even they're just pet names that they give each other.
And so every director is looking at a monitor, watching an actor perform that and saying, I believe the love between them is present here.
Yeah.
I believe that from this performance. And again, fascinating about David Lynch is, he gets it in a way no one else can, but it is there. In the same way, it's like Kubrick is, I think, very famous for burning his actors out and getting into this it's like people imitating people.
Yeah.
And that matters for his story, and only he gets those performances.
Yeah.
In a cruel way, one could
it's
argue.
like only he wants that performance.
Only he wants it.
Only David Lynch wants this performance.
Correct. And that's part of what you're signing up for.
Yeah.
If you're watching a film by them.
Yes.
You know?
Yeah.
And that's such a unique thing for him.
Mm-hmm.
Also, we didn't talk much about it, but the actor from Elephant Man and also Dune returns.
Yes.
Who's just great.
He's just wonderful.
Love him so much.
Wonderful. Yes.
Yeah. And he returns with just guy at a bar with strange pitch-corrected voice that's clearly supposed to be an allusion to the Munchkins, I guess.
Yeah.
Pigeons spread diseases. I mess up the place. You see that?
And I have no idea why. And it's amazing. I'm like,
amazing.
thank you. You know, he'll do a lot more.
Yeah, playing with people's voices
Sure.
is something that David Lynch did here very jarringly and will continue to use to jar.
David Lynch
audience.
doesn't care if the soundscape is impossible.
Yeah.
And like I don't know anybody else doing that. Honestly.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like I'm trying to think, I haven't watched enough John Waters. I feel like maybe he does that a little bit. But like David Lynch is using sound in such a creative way that is impossible but still emotionally true.
Yeah.
And like we're going to talk about that in Lost Highway a little bit.
Yeah.
We're 100% going to talk about it in Mulholland Drive.
Yeah.
And I mean when we get to Twin Peaks, of course, like his understanding of what people need to feel in that soundscape is intuitive because no one else really has it. Most other directors are going for fidelity. You know?
Or plausible. Yes. They want the sound to bolster.
It's what it should sound like.
Right.
You know, even creative films like Star Wars, like a lot of people do veneration of sound design.
Pew pew.
Star Wars has amazing sound design.
Yeah.
Amazing
It's great.
sound design. And it's very creative.
Pew pew.
But it never challenges the reality of
in
the
a blender.
place.
Yeah.
Right.
We see it diegetically. We see
Yes.
where the sound is coming from. David
Yes.
Lynch does not. Part of
Doesn't
that is
care.
like breaking the.
Doesn't care.
Yeah, he's making a film. He likes drawing
Yeah.
attention to the creation of such.
Yes. And
I think
he's
so.
right.
He's
I mean,
right.
he's right about it.
We know we're watching a movie.
Yeah.
We know.
Finally, this is some of my favorite color work that he's done because I think in this film, it's not just vibe.
Yeah.
It's also some of the narrative is in the
Yeah,
color work here.
Totally.
Some of his movies, whatever the colors mean, is not enough to know. Like, I might be wrong about this because we're going to rewatch Mulholland Drive, but that's a movie that has a lot of specific color work that's like, only some of it means something. Not everything about it means something.
That one he came with, there is a palette that he's sticking
Yes,
to. Yeah.
the blue and the red.
Right.
You know,
Whereas, this one, it is very free and colorful, and each setting they go to has a different color palette. Yeah, it's very...
But it never stops being saturated color wheel hues.
Yeah.
You know, primary, secondary, tertiary colors, that's it.
Yeah.
Like not, nothing that wouldn't be in a Technicolor film. Because I think that's the point, Anyway, this was wonderful.
This was wonderful.
This is what a
First,
great day.
Real Lynch movie. I don't know because they're all Lynch movies, but we're really getting into what makes him such a, I don't know. I don't want to say out.
Unique voice.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was so instantly exciting to watch this film, even though it's not one of my favorites by him.
Yeah.
I really like it.
Yeah.
But it's not one of my favorites. It's just like, but it feels like him.
Yes.
And that's the sweet
Slip
spice.
it in.
Spice. That's the spice.
Ah, it's a spice. Melange.
The melange. Somehow Dune's gonna be the movie. Dune's gonna be the movie that you and I quote the most to each other.
Probably.
Isn't that ruining everything for you to know that? Yeah.
Or do
I love it. I love it.
Yeah. I'm so excited for the next two movies. The next all
do we
movies,
Do we want to tell them
Sure.
what it's going to be? Because it's Blue Velvet time.
And then Mulholland Drive.
And then Mulholland Drive. That's going to be epic.
Yeah.
We're going to have to drink Pabst Blue Ribbons before we do that podcast.
Wait.
That's by the way, my brother's favorite line from any Lynch movie.
Is it?
Heineken, fuck that shit. Pabst Blue Ribbon. Like that line. It's so good. Dennis Hopper is out of control. Like,
I cannot
it's so
wait.
Good. It's so good.
Cannot wait.
Like all of Lynch's villains are a delight.
Yeah.
Just because, like, thank you. You
Yes.
don't get to see this much.
Thank you.
Dennis Hopper in Blue Velvet is actually terrifying.
Yes.
And boy, what a good time.
Yes.
What a good time.
How he got there, I can't wait to tell you that story about how he got it.
Okay.
So
I'm excited. Yeah, the gas mask.
stick that in your little
Man,
hat.
I'm gonna stick it in my metaphorical hat.
Great.
And I'll stew on it brain-wise.
So should we end on it's been a hot minute since we ended on a little meditation.
Did you?
But shall we transcend?
We?
I think so.
Love me tender, love me sweet, never let me go. Thank you so much for listening to Lynchpins. If you enjoyed the show, tell a friend or a doppelganger. And if you really enjoy the show and want to help us make more episodes and see your name in the video podcast credits, head over to patreon.com/Maggie Mayfish. Lynchpins is hosted by me, Maggie Mayfish, and Adam Ganser. Produced by Will Reese. And this episode edited by Shannon Strucci. Original music composed and produced by Daniel Klein. And be sure to join us for the next episode as we discuss David Lynch's Blue Velvet.